my name. You kind of shady and calling me baby. See
my sudden change. Laura's serious. She's like, okay, we're Destiny Child.
All right. I'm your guest. How am I your guest? I'm your host, Nev B, aka Kizzy B. I'm here joined with Khadija and Laura, and this is the roll up. Nigga, say something. Like,
well, shit.
I thought you still had like an introduction.
No, that was my little trash ass introduction. So,
hey guys.
So, what's going on, you guys? What's going on with the week?
Over here sipping on my strawberry.
But it's like 1 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little early, isn't it?
It's not too early to drink.
Nigga, you was looking for
it's my day off.
Right, it is my day off too. The concert got canceled, so like now I'm here with y'all, you know?
Yep.
While you was looking for your raspberry Rita, like, you ain't got the razzmatazz, like, alright. So anyway, so what's good with y'all? So we're gonna talk about some shit, we're gonna smoke some shit, we're gonna drink some shit.
Yeah.
Niggas said they need some drink to get relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so enough of that sponsor shit. No, so we ain't sponsored by none of these niggas, like, so. Anyway, yeah, so. Niggas is looking at me like, y'all niggas.
Yeah, you're the host.
So let's get right
into it. To introduce the
So let's get
topic.
right into it. So, one of the things that's on the news right now, I guess, is Kanye. And I don't really like talking about Kanye, but he's a whole topic. I don't know. He's kind of wild. He's wilding right now. I don't know. So do you think Drake fucked Kim K or not?
He probably did. I mean, she a hoe, isn't she?
And they live down the block from each other.
Yeah, there's a whole thread about like how Drake lives a block away from where they live, and in some of the songs in his lyrics, he literally highlights about going up the block, make a right, park the car, turn off the light. Like, bruh. Like,
and then he said there are some women who are married until they put the phone down.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never heard of that, though.
Yeah, it's a whole conspiracy about how this nigga Drake fucked Kim K. And I kind of believe it because it's like he said he had some shit to end Kanye's career or quote-unquote people's careers, and then he never came out with it.
But isn't that kind of like bad on Drake? Like, you're bringing that up in a Kanye discussion to express your dismay over his behavior, but Drake sleeping with an obviously married woman is bad behavior, isn't it?
Is it?
Yes, it is.
It is.
True. But
as wild as Kanye acts, he doesn't deserve to have his wife practice infidelity on him, regardless of her past. Once you're married, I feel like that's unacceptable.
It's like off limits, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you see the response he did? Like, he went on, was it Instagram? And he was like, hey, don't talk about my wife.
Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, I was just giving some context.
I really liked how Nick Cannon handled the situation because he was really kind with him. Like, yo, I appreciate you saying how you feel, but no one's going to tell me what I can and cannot talk about. Mm-hmm. And I feel like once a person is a part of your past, then you have the right to speak on that person, even if they're married to another person. I personally don't feel like that's wrong. How do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like if you've had an ex, or let's say if the partner you're with has an ex, are you uncomfortable with your partner's ex speaking about your partner when they're brought up by another party? Or do you feel like, don't speak on them, I don't care about your past, we're married now, so I don't want you speaking on your past relationship or how you feel about my current partner?
I would never want nobody's ex, especially in my current relationship, like, speaking up on none of that shit. Like, yeah, you might have hit first, but nigga, you ain't keep the shit. Like, like, stay in your place. So I understand, like, I commend Kanye for speaking up on his wife, but then at the same time, you can't get mad because your wife low-key is a public forum.
Yeah, they're
Like,
public figures. Like,
yeah.
that's different, I
Figure-
think.
It is
And,
very different.
Like, it's not like I have any exes that's about to go on no interviews talking shit about me.
Right.
Well, shit, maybe I might blow up. Maybe you never know. Some shit might come out about me that it's gonna be a lot of shit that, you know, but I don't know. I just think that it shouldn't, I don't know. I feel like wife and kids should be something you leave out of the topic. But if it's, like, for example, for Nick Cannon to be talking about Kim K, like, literally that's his truth. That's his ex. Like, they had an experience.
Yeah.
He had a moment. So if he wants to speak about his past, he can. But I guess for Drake, in the Drake situation, that's different because, nigga, that's not your ex. Or not publicly, you know what
I
I mean?
didn't even know Nick went out with
Yeah.
what's
Kim K, yeah.
Yeah, he dated her before
I didn't know
all the
that
surgery
either.
and everything. Before the surgery, he was dating her when
I
she
didn't
was
know
like
that.
when she was like the handmaid.
Who wasn't she dating? Like, seriously.
Yeah, she took the rounds.
Damn.
But when you're trying to become something, it's like you attach yourself to people who you think are something. And she's clearly done that for
Wow.
years. I mean, she was attached to Paris Hilton. Like, I knew who Paris Hilton
Wait, Paris Hilton?
Yeah,
She used to work for her.
yeah.
She was like her closet cleaner or whatever the fuck. You
Yeah.
know? Like her family wasn't always like the famous like
Kardashians that we know.
Kardashians. Like her dad was famous, but like only in the sense of like his dad. Her dad was like
A lawyer.
OJ's legal defense.
Yeah.
So it's not really like he's as famous as Johnny Cochran, I guess. But not even Johnny Cochran is a little bit more famous than Kardashian. I didn't even know about their dad like that. So it's like, yeah, y'all came for money, and then like I guess like Bruce or Caitlyn Jenner, you know what I mean, like was way definitely more famous than anything than their family, but that wasn't enough to not. It's not the same. Like now they're a whole franchise and you're a whole business. Your family is a business.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it's public shit. Like that's I guess you would say like that's the price of fame. Like you put yourself out there and you're gonna get some shit back.
Yeah, you're gonna
be
get
it
stuff
negative
back.
or positive.
And you'll get a lot of negative, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I'm about to roll up to this shit. But I just want to know, can we talk about why Kanye, and I'm not the most healthiest person, I'm not super in shape, but why was Kanye out of breath walking? And this nigga already had, talking about I had lipo and shit. Like, nigga, you need to get on a treadmill, my nigga. Like, the fuck is you out of breath walking? Like, you could have paused the video. You could have did anything, but, nigga, I just want to address, like, nigga, chill, pause.
And he was like, "Oh, let's wait for the train to pass." Like, why didn't he do that? Like,
It's a part
like
of,
at his house or some.
it's a part of his rebrand. He's trying to go back to the hood. He's trying to get his little hood points. He's really trying to win over black people. If you're not noticed, like, it's not gonna work. Like,
It's
I feel like
not,
it might work if it's genuine. You know what I mean? Because we do want Kanye back. We do want the same Kanye back.
Jesus walks.
You know what I mean? Like, George Bush don't like black people, Kanye, but this
For
new
real.
Kanye, we not fucking with him.
Not at all.
Kim Kardashian doing more for the black community than he is. And that's the fucking saddest part. It's like, bro, what's going on? Your wife is... But even I feel like her shit is more like... I don't really... I believe it.
It's
but
for publicity, kind
I feel
of.
like it's semi-publicity. Like, I don't know. It's good. Like, all things that, you know, help other people are good. But to me, it's when you have to highlight it so much and you're going to the White House and kicking with Trump and talk to him about what? Like, he's really about to do anything for you. Why even go to him? Why?
But he did do something for that girl. That girl that was in prison for killing her rapist or something.
He pardoned her or some shit?
Didn't he?
I don't know.
After she
I
went
thought
to.
the courts did
I
that
never
shit.
heard that.
Oh.
But I know what you're talking about. I'm not sure. We don't really have a real fact checker right now.
Yeah, not right now.
But fuck it. I don't know. I just feel like it's all good. Like if you talking about shit, I just don't like that Kanye. He only comes out to talk to us when he's selling some shit. Oh, I have 2 new albums coming out, so let me just do this.
Oh
whole
yeah,
rollout.
that's true too. His
Yeah.
album's coming out next week.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's kind of been in it for too long and he's a little lost as to how things really work, which is the same thing that the dissenter on TMZ said about him. Remember when he was like, you're not living in this real world. He was like, but I am. And I'm going to tell you exactly why your statements about slavery are wrong, because I live in the real world and I have to deal with systemic racism on a level that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's just a little detached because he's been living his grand life for so long that it's just made him a little detached from his roots and where he came from. So I think him going to Chicago, if it's genuine, is a really good move for him. He needs to be on the fucking subway waiting for the train. You know what I mean? Like, you need to get back to that. You need to get back to the roots of being in public around people, doing what everyday average people do, so you can start to gain some humility, because it's hard out here for the average person. And I think when he's in his bubble in his all white house with his Instagram famous wife, that he doesn't necessarily understand what the normal people are going through, which he understood a little better when he made College Dropout and Late Registration, which is two of my favorite Kanye albums. So yeah, I think he started to lose that around like 808 and Heartbreaks, when he started like fucking with Amber Rose and doing all this extra shit. It's like, okay, you're getting caught up in the game and in the limelight, and you're forgetting your roots.
Why do they call it the limelight? Is it because it's bittersweet?
I don't know why they call it the limelight.
I never thought of that.
Maybe it's because of the color. Maybe the color of the light was closer to like a lime, or what people thought was a lime color. So they call it the limelight. I don't know why they say limelight.
We definitely gotta look into that.
Yeah,
I feel like maybe like they're bitter. I don't know. But I don't really think that Kanye was like, do you guys really think that Kanye was taking the train, or was he just like a photo op? Like he hopped back into the car? Or was he like walking somewhere?
If he did, that's so fucking
I think he was just walking. Seriously, I just thought he was just walking where the subway was. He's like, oh, let me wait till the train passes by because there's a lot of noise.
Or was that just to like let us know that, hey, I'm in Chicago, I'm doing this rebrand. Let me like show that I'm in the hood somewhere.
Probably, yeah.
It just kind of seemed like, it didn't seem genuine. And it just seems like if you really want to help the community, like help it. Like move silently so niggas could speak on it for you.
But the thing is, if you move silently, people don't see what you're doing. So they talk shit thinking you're not doing anything.
That's
but
true,
you're moving silently. So people want people to move in silence. But if they're truly moving in silence, you're not even going to know what they accomplished.
That's true.
So how can you speak on what they're doing if they're moving in silence? Just like with Beyonce.
They move in silence.
Yeah, Beyonce and them moved in silence. And people have been saying like, oh, well, what does Beyonce do? Because when she did her whole Super Bowl thing with the Black Panther thing, people were like, oh, that's all good and all, but you got girls shaking their asses and wearing scantily clad clothes, and what are you doing? And then Beyonce's like, oh, I've donated all this stuff. I donated all these millions. And I've never even said that. And I've never even come out about that. But this is what I'm doing. And you guys think I'm not doing anything, but I'm actually doing a lot. It's just behind the scenes. Same with like people like Chance. Like Chance does a lot behind the scenes and doesn't like speak out loud, which is why I feel like when Drake did his, was it Nice for What?
No,
or was it God's Plan? God's Plan. When he did God's Plan, I felt like that was a little ingenuine, because it's like you're being so like upfront.
Oh, he did it for the...
Yeah. And I think any donation is good. Helping people out is good. But I felt like that was a little ingenuine of how it almost seemed like he was showing it off in the video. Like, oh, look at all this good work I'm doing and look at me donating to people. But there's tons of people who donate and like no one will ever know that they donated what they did, because it was anonymous, and they don't want people to know that they did it because they don't want to receive any type of gratification.
But then it's also the fact that like usually when people like for example, Beyonce, right? Like, the reason we know that she, like, donated, her and Jay-Z donated to, like, the Mike Brown Ferguson cause and whatnot, right? People in Ferguson, is that people spoke up about it and gave them their accolades. Like, I feel like if you do the work and you aim to help people, people are going to speak up on it. People are going to speak up on it and tell, you know, like, oh, that's not true. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when you're out there, it's like when you see people on the street. I hate seeing people on the streets, or like these IG comedians or whoever they might be. Oh, I'm on the streets. I'm passing out dollars. I'm giving out $20 to homeless people. Like, you could have did that without the camera, without embarrassing these people, making them a part of your brand, or you know what I mean. Like, is it really? Are you really doing it because you genuinely want to help them, or are you doing it because you want to get the good look? Like I've seen like a video of Kevin Hart giving some crackhead some money, and it was like, but like you have the camera on them. Like,
Oh, he recorded it while he was
yeah,
doing
they
it.
was recording it, and I was just like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, because if you were that homeless person, of course you're gonna be happy to have the money, but then would you want a fucking camera in your face, putting you out there?
I think at that point you don't care. You've been sleeping on the street. You've gotten. He handed him like what over $100, a couple $100.
But
it was a woman.
But what if he thinks that the publicity will help other people?
Want to give.
Yeah,
but then it's like, I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of fake to me. It's like if you really care, like it wouldn't matter if the camera's on or not. What was the point of the camera?
But sometimes people, I had to kind of reflect on the Drake thing about how I felt about it, because I had to remind myself sometimes people need to see other people doing good.
To do it too, yeah. That's why I really like that video, actually. It really got me emotional, God's Plan, because like, oh shit,
Yeah,
he's actually, damn, he actually gave those people a lot of money and stuff, and changed a lot of people's lives and stuff. Now other people are seeing, not just seeing him as, oh, his God's gift to earth. He's actually doing stuff for the community. So maybe I could give my last dollar to a homeless person, or I could do this to
Yeah.
But some people do use it for just like publicity, like, oh, look what I'm doing. I'm not this person you think I am, this rich celebrity not giving a fuck about everybody else, But
true.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I definitely like enjoy the God's Plan video. But then it like, I guess I was kind of like finally happy that kind of Drake does something selfless for the publicity wise, because usually he probably does help a lot in his own community and whatnot. I just feel like he kind of panders to the American crowd a lot, because he's not American, and I understand our plight or whatever is not his. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, but at the same time, like, really has Drake said too much about you? Like, you make African like music that it stems from African Americans. You know what I mean? Like your music, you kind of make, not all your music is directed towards us, but like when you make your rap records and you're out here in Atlanta collabing with other artists and stuff like that, like he doesn't really say too much about. Drake doesn't really speak up too much about black rights and like police brutality.
No,
at all. Like I think he wrote like a letter one time about some issue, but it felt like it was kind of like It was like, oh, your publicist wrote this. Like, he doesn't really speak. Like, how many? Like, could you like? You couldn't count all the other rappers like T.I. and David Banner, who's really outspoken on the matter.
Yeah, David Banner.
And I'm trying to think. A lot of artists speak up about shit, and I feel like Drake is one of the more quieter ones. He doesn't really speak too much about fucking police brutality. Like niggas is getting killed out in the streets, and you know what I mean? Like, and you are the top artist right now. You're the biggest artist in the world right now, but you're like the quietest.
A lot of people don't speak about that stuff though.
They don't.
Nicki doesn't.
But fuck.
When does Nicki ever open her mouth
but who's really
about
looking for Nicki to talk about
anything political? Some people that's not their brand. Like
she's not a top tier. She's a top tier artist. She's a superstar artist, but she's not currently. Is she? Would you say she's in the top 5 of the biggest artists in the world right now? No, you wouldn't.
Well, there's top 5 in different categories. There's top 5 in music and who's going on in music right now. In music, she's whack right now. But in terms of being in the news and in the rags, yes, she's top 5. If anything happens with Nicki Minaj, she's going in that rag.
Oh, did you guys see the fight with? Well, I didn't really see that.
I saw it. I saw all of that.
What do you guys think about that? Cardi B and Nicki Minaj feuding.
That shit is hilarious. I just think that it's not gonna stop Cardi B's money. Because I don't think so. Because
I think it is.
People said, "Oh, she didn't get invited she got disinvited to Rihanna's ball or whatever."
Yeah, really? After that,
but but then like the last weekend, her and Nicki Minaj were at the same event in Milan.
Probably with a whole bunch of security.
Yeah, but nothing happened, and she's still walking runway. She's still performing in these prestigious events and these high class society type places. But I don't think it's going to stop her money. I think if she continued to act out like that, but it's not going to stop her money. And it's also a part of her franchise.
It is.
People act like white people don't love that shit.
They do.
They love us to be ghetto.
Feuding against each other.
Yeah, they love that shit. Oh, she's like that shit is in. The reason Cardi B is where she's at is not because of her music. They, people listen to her music. Her music is number one, blah, blah, blah. Streams really well. But she didn't get to where she is because of her music.
Yeah. It's because of her personality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Her personality has gotten her where she is. So I feel like her continuing to be herself is not going to stop her money. I think in the long run, I think, like, yes, she has to tighten up. She can't be as hood as she has been in the past. But I feel like if she was to change, that might change her fan base. Just to think about it. And it's like, to me, it's like a year ago, Cardi B was not going to the Met Gala. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like 2 years ago, she wasn't doing all this stuff. So for people to expect, for me personally, for you to expect someone who whole career is banked off of her personality, being like, she keeps it real. She's from the Bronx or wherever she's from. Mm-hmm. Like, that's her whole personality. For you to expect her to be something different, it's kind of crazy. Like, you really think like you're gonna take a girl out of the hood and put her at a Met Gala the next year, mm-hmm. and think that she's gonna be a whole different person? Mm-hmm. That's not gonna happen. I don't know.
I agree completely.
They should do a song together though.
I think that would be pretty good.
That should be trash. I'm sorry.
An EDM, I think a good EDM would actually be good for Nicki to go back to her roots of her more pop EDM start, like super bass. And I think Cardi rapping over that type of beat would be better, because the simplified hip hop beats, when she raps over those, she sounds really off key.
She can't.
She sounds really off beat.
She's off beat.
And I feel Cardi
can't rap on beat. She's getting better.
She is getting better, but I feel like it's not as tight. And I feel like with those hip hop beats, you have to be a little more tight. But with the EDM, you could keep it a little loose.
Yeah.
And then EDM would be an international hit. And I think Nicki needs an international hit. When's the last time she's had an international hit besides a feature?
Bruh, none of the songs on her album are on the radio right now. So I'm just going to say that. And I understand.
Wasn't that what was it? Shung Lee or some shit?
Shit was on the radio, but was it like, I get.
No, played frequently, in my opinion. No.
And I understand that it also comes down to the label and who's backing you, because you pay to have your song on the radio. But girl, you're on the same label as fucking Drake. You're both signed to Republic and you're both signed to Cash Money. Why the fuck is Drake on the fucking radio like, literally, me and Khadijah used to play this game where we'd be on the in the car, and I would go back and forth between Power 106 and like 92.3, and it would both be Drake. I'd be like, and I would do it like, oh, I'm psychic. And before I even say Drake, I'll call it Drake. And I'll push it, Drake.
Yep.
And then call the next one Drake. And it'll be Drake again. And it never failed.
Yep.
Damn.
They really, because they invest a lot of money on him. He's number one. And I feel like there's other artists that are on the radio whose songs don't necessarily need to be on the radio, but I just feel like her album didn't really have any replayability. Like, I've never been a fucking Nicki Minaj fan at all, and I do recognize her talent, and she can spit, she can rap.
She's talented.
It's just that her demographic is not me, and I just don't really necessarily like the content. I don't even feel like she has enough. Like, I don't feel like her content. I like genuine content. Like, if I like ratchet shit, I like ratchet shit. Mm-hmm. I want to turn up on some ratchet shit. But it kind of gets old after a while when you're still rapping about all these bitches is your sons 10 years later. Like it doesn't really.
Yeah, you can only rap about your pussy being the best and the wettest and the flyest for so long. After a while, it's not really that cute. And it's like, what else do you bring to the table? She's a gorgeous woman. We all see that, and we've all known and acknowledged that. And she's a businesswoman, and she does what she needs to do, and we've all acknowledged that too. But after a while, we want to see more of you. Who are you? What is your story? At least that's how I feel personally about Nicki Minaj. I didn't care too much for Beyonce maybe around 10 years ago in 2008, Facts. 2009. I didn't really care for Beyonce.
That was not my cup of tea.
I always acknowledged her talent. But when it came to who she was or what she brought in terms of personally to the music, I wasn't feeling that. I was feeling like she was like a machine who just made amazing music, hit after hit after hit, but I didn't really have a personal connection until recently, until she did Lemonade. And then I was like, wow, I'm feeling some sort of like personal connection with this. And I resonated with her a lot more. And personally, I feel like if Nicki did that, then I would probably resonate with her a little bit more because her music recently hasn't been that great in my opinion. It's very mediocre.
Damn, I tried to crack the door and that shit was loud as fuck.
Right.
No.
It sounded like it was cars going.
Nigga.
Oh, remember when Nicki said about when Travis Scott was releasing his album? He was like, "Oh, the only reason why his album made it to the top of top of the charts was because Kylie." Oh no, he was talking about tour sales. Like
Yeah. But my bad.
Don't you think Kylie did have? I haven't heard of Travis Scott. Like I haven't heard of all of his songs, but don't you think that him being with Kylie and her posting on social media or him posting on social media that she's gonna be there with Stormi at his concerts, don't you think that it boosted his sales of like his ticket sales for his tour?
Yes and no. Cause I've heard of Travis Scott before Kylie Jenner.
Same.
And I think that he has the difference between Nicki Minaj and him is that their fan bases are two different things. She has the female demographic. You know what I mean? He has a predominantly white male demographic.
White male?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The majority of hip hop and rap music is all by white people. When you look at these artists and they go on tours or they go to the festivals, look at the crowd.
Yeah, look at the
There's a whole crowd of white people saying nigga.
I always thought that they were the ones who could afford it.
Wait,
they are the ones who can
You're
afford
black,
it.
right? Mm-hmm. You're black, right? Do you go to concerts?
Shit, the last concert I've been to,
But do you go to concerts?
no.
Regularly of artists you
no.
support? No.
No. Black people
Not saying that black people don't because it's black people at these events, but it is kind of like
predominantly it's been like that for a long time.
Or at least a large percentage white, even in hip hop and in heavy hard rap, gangster rap, especially. You think that it would just be all black. No, it's definitely still a large percentage of white people who.
I will say that all artists, they do these bundle deals. And so I know Nicki Minaj was complaining about, he bundled his with his merch, and so all the merch that he sells goes towards his record sales. But bitch, you were just bundling your fucking ticket sales with your fucking album. So when you buy a ticket, it counts as
an album sale.
An album sale.
So she did things herself too
just didn't work.
to boost her business. I think she's just kind of being a little bit of a sore loser.
She better.
Because she's focused so much on the business aspect of her being the best. So when someone comes along and works their business aspect, which is being in a relationship with someone who is very famous, then why are you upset at him? You're using your own tactics and you're upset at him for using his own tactics to get his business up. You don't understand that this is business. It's just a game. So she's kind of taking it personally when it's like, it's not personal and you complaining about this issue. I think it's personally not a good look. Especially since she's been dominating the female rap industry lane for so long. So for you to throw a fit, it's almost like a spoiled child or a spoiled brat throwing a tantrum, in my personal opinion. Just because she's been dominating and been the only one in this lane for so long. And once someone else comes along or once someone does better than you, then it's like, I'm going to go scream about how it's unfair. Well, unfair, that's just kind of subjective, in my opinion. I don't think it's unfair. Personally, but that's kind of how I feel about Travis Scott and Kylie. And I don't care for Travis Scott. I don't care. I definitely don't care for Kylie Jenner. And honestly, I don't care too much for Nicki Minaj, but I care for her the most out of all three of those. And I'll still admit that, in my opinion, she was wrong.
I don't know. I just think that I agree with you on that whole who you don't like and you don't like. I just think that now, like, Nicki Minaj is an older artist. Not saying she's an old school artist, but she's an older artist in the sense that she came out in a different era.
She's been in the industry for over a decade now.
Talking to the mic, please. I told you if you want me to move your mic.
No, it was just sounding really loud when I had it close. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But no, I was agreeing on what you were saying about Nicki Minaj and whatnot. But I think when it comes to Travis is that he comes from a different generation of rappers where they know their fan base. It's all about your fan base now. It's not just about like, okay, becoming a superstar and whatnot, but the way you become a superstar now is that you have a really tight fan base. And I think Nicki Minaj has a really tight fan base, but at the same time, is her fan base buying merch and tickets? They're not. She had to cancel her tour with part of her tour with Future. Yeah, and she she gave an excuse because of what X, Y, and Z, but really, come on now, no one was buying her tickets. I'm sorry, like, you're not selling out like that. Travis Scott is selling out. I'm sorry, like, he's more popular than you, not just because of Kylie, but his fan base. He has little white boys love him. Little white boys love him. Kids love him. Kids are not really checking for Nicki Minaj. No. I'm sorry, kids are not checking for you. It's just a simple fact.
And people our age, I feel like, aren't necessarily checking for her that hard either. I feel like she has the white male gay community on lock.
And she has black, and I feel like black women love her. She has a fan base.
She does have a fan base of black women.
Focus on growing your fan base. And to me, focus on your content. I'm sorry, that's the biggest complaint I hear is that her content.
Yeah.
For me, her content is not accumulate a whole album. I thought she was going to get personal on the album. We're going to get
last one, you mean?
Let's hear some of the struggle songs. Like, I feel like the song that was supposed to be her personal song wasn't really personal.
Which one was that?
Her little heartbreak song or whatever the fuck it was.
On Queen?
Yeah, on the Queen album. I don't know. I didn't even finish the album because it wasn't for me. I just know that from what I heard, it wasn't, nothing on there was personal really. It's, you know what I mean? Drake, people love Drake because he goes personal, even though he has this whole level of mystique that like works for him, but he also, in his music, he seems like he's going through some shit. Right now we're in a time where people respect emotional music.
Yeah. People want the real, which is why Donald Trump is our president now, because it just seemed more real than the structured, managed, put together, polished image of what a president should be. And that's reflecting in our music too, which is why Cardi B is so successful, because she's not that put together, managed, polished, PR image of an artist. She's real and she says what she wants to say, and that's just that. So I feel like in culture in general, we really like that right now. We like that realness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone to relate to.
Yeah, exactly.
This has been fun, you guys. I'm really surprised, Laura. You're doing a great job.
Yeah,
you feel me? Like,
very natural.
Laura came with the topics already known. Like, Jesus, like I didn't even know you'd been following hip hop news. You've been listening to the.
I've been on the Shade Room, girl.
Right. All right. So I have a couple topics that I got off of Twitter that kind of raised the eyebrow. I'm trying to think which one I want to go into first, because. Okay, I'm going for the hard one first, and like, not the hard one, but the more serious topic. And then start off with some light shit. End off with some light shit. It's not really a serious topic, but it is. It is a serious topic. Let me take that back. I'm gonna edit that shit out. Ooh. Is raping a rapist okay? And let me give you context. I watched the video on accident. I didn't know what the fuck I was watching. I think Khadijah, you saw the video, right? And it was, I think they were African or some kind of like Caribbean, I don't know, some other type of niggas. And the caption was, this guy raped a girl and now they're raping him. And it was a video of this guy getting raped in the ass.
Yeah. By men in succession.
Yeah. I don't know. The video was only one man. We didn't see the whole video. It was a clip.
It was men around.
And so it was insinuated. So it was insinuated that it was a train.
Yeah.
But the clip was only so long, and thank God. I didn't know it was going to be that graphic.
Yes.
Nigga was long stroking that shit. Like, nigga, that shit was...
Oh my God.
And...
Nigga, like, why do you have to go into detail? It's bringing it all back to me, and I have forgotten that. That was, like, in my subconscious somewhere. Now it's in the forefront. Thank you very much.
So... Yeah, so... It's like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. And I just wanted to, like, kind of, like, see where other people stood on that. Like, I don't condone rape at all. But when you hear about some horrible ass nigga and you go, what do people say? I hope you get raped in prison. You know what I mean? Like, but then when you really see it and you're confronted with it, you're just like, oh. And, like, it didn't really show his face or anything like that. But I didn't feel bad for him. And I was kind of shocked at how I felt. I was disgusted by the act and the image, but I wasn't really like, And they were going raw up in that ass too.
Oh
No. Why?
I don't think he should have been raped.
Yeah.
So what do you guys feel like? So you guys are against rapists getting raped?
Mm-hmm. I am.
Eye for an eye.
I'm against.
Asshole for an eye.
Yeah, I'm against that. Yeah, I'm definitely against that.
There's other type of punishment. No.
See how it feels to be intruded upon? You harm a little girl. I just want to know how the rapist get hard. How did the rapist get hard? He was with that shit.
That's the thing, though. It's like the person doing it would have to be with it. So it's like, why aren't you punishing them after they do that to that person? It just becomes this endless train of like, okay, now they got to get punished because they raped somebody. Because technically you raped somebody. Even if you did it for the purpose of punishing them, eye for an eye, right?
Right.
But you raped somebody's son. He was somebody's son. Even though he raped and hurt somebody, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's father. And they raped him. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, okay, now we got to punish you and you got to eye for eye get raped. But now the person who did that to him got to get...
It's just going to keep going and going and going.
Exactly. It doesn't
cycle.
Make sense. It doesn't make sense. And it's not a good way to rehabilitate people so they could get on a path where they don't want to harm other people. That's the whole thing. We got to get people back on the path where they don't want to harm other people. But instead, we just want to punish them and do an eye for eye thing. But that just keeps the cycle of violence and harm and hate going. You got to rehabilitate people. I feel bad. That whole thing made me feel bad. Seeing that video really made me feel bad because that was a lot of hurt. It's like, it's hurt because somebody you loved obviously got raped. So now you're so hurt and so angry because you love that person so much and someone else has harmed them. Now you want to go out and do the same thing that they did, even though you know how much hurt that made you feel when you found out. And now you go and you rape that person and then you have to live with that. That's not going to be erased from your memory. You're going to really be like, oh, fuck, that night when I raped that nigga, yeah. And then it's just like you have to sit with those thoughts. Like, okay, yeah, I was erect. Yeah, I was up in that. Like, that's a fact to you now.
But what if
that's
he was okay with it?
If you're okay with it, there's some deep pain in there. And I feel really sorry for you. And I feel like you need God and you need
both
Jesus.
crazy. But do you think the rapist would go and rape someone else again?
After getting raped by 5 different niggas?
Maybe. Maybe. Maybe, nigga. Who says that would stop him? Maybe that would give him more incentive to be like, well, shit, since I've raped and now been raped, why not keep the rape going? This is my truth, right?
So what about when women take their power back in other countries and they start lopping off dicks? And they've done that. They go, like, you know what I mean? I forgot, not India, but some country where they were lopping niggas' dicks off who were rapists.
I agree with that.
So how do you agree with that but not rape?
I don't personally agree with
he
that.
He can't rape someone else with no dick. How can he rape someone else with no dick?
But how is he gonna... And I'm not condoning rape at all. Not male rape at all. Not at all. I'm just saying, I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate. That's just my role right now.
And I understand you. I wouldn't lie if I didn't tell you I got some sense of personal gratification when I hear of a story about a woman taking back her power and dismembering a man who has raped her, because I have issues with that. I have an issue with men abusing their sexual power and taking advantage of women. So when I hear of a woman harming a man, I get a sense of satisfaction from that. But can I say I agree with the actual action of doing something like chopping a man's thing off, I can't say that I necessarily agree with that. That's a very violent action.
It is.
And this whole thing could be rectified in a better way. But the thing is, people lash out because of how they feel emotionally. And I can relate to that. I've been in situations where I've been walking down the street and I feel like a nigga is following me. I get in that mindset of, I'm about to, if something happens,
defense mode. You gotta be in defense mode. Like,
to me, I'm about to lop off a dick.
Yeah,
I'm about
you have to
stab you in the eyes with my keys because it's the only weapon I got. I really have those thoughts.
Because they're gonna think that they could keep doing it. Like if she didn't chop his dick off, he could easily go back and rape her. Like, okay, bitch, like you
or rape somebody else,
or rape someone else.
But you're gonna cause some permanent medical things.
Exactly. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. We need to figure out why this person, I'm not going to call him
But she's going through psychological damage right now because he raped her.
But so is he. He's going through psychological damage to even be in a place where he wants to rape a woman in the first place.
Maybe he just...
What happened to you?
Really psychological? At this point,
did
niggas
he get
just do
molested?
that shit.
But niggas don't just do that shit.
A lot of niggas do that shit.
No, I feel like it's because people get in situations that cause them emotional harm. Either a woman causes it to a man or another man causes it to a boy, a child. And then they manifest that situation from when they was a kid and it causes the fucked up thinking that makes them feel like they're inferior to a woman and that I gotta rape her. I don't feel like that come out of nowhere. That's developed in what happened to you as a child, whether by your parents or by somebody else or by other little boys in the school ground. It's always somebody that planted that seed that made, and in that moment, you decided, okay, me and girls are not equal. Because remember when we was young and we were at a certain age, it's like at a certain age, we were equal to boys. It wasn't like this thing where it's this gender divide. But then it's like once you get to that certain age and people start planting those seeds that you can't do that. You can't do that because you a boy. Or you can't do that because you a girl. Or don't sit like that because girls... It's like someone plants that seed and then you realize, oh shit, now I'm different because I'm a girl. I'm different because I have these parts and I can't do this and I can't do that. Yeah. And boys say, oh, the girls is different than me because of this or because of that. Or my uncle said that girls ain't good for nothing but sex. So now they got that thought in their head. So now they feel like they're superior.
Yeah, even the media too. It's all over the media on shows, movies, commercials.
Exactly.
Like men are superior than women.
Exactly. And it's a whole like train of people with these thoughts and emotional things, putting it on other people, making people do bad things and harm themselves. And I'm not saying that people aren't responsible for what they choose to do with their free will. If you choose to go out and walk down the street and kill a woman or rape a woman because you feeling whatever you feeling, you're responsible for that because you exercise your free will. No one made you do that. So you're responsible for that. But at the same time, there are influences and causes and emotional and psychological things that do drive people towards exercising their free will in that way. Can you please click my phone off? Just press the side button, the other one time. Yeah, one time. Whew, y'all. Anyway.
So, my other question was, so you seen that TED Talk with a guy, woman, she talks, her and her rapist have a TED Talk?
Yeah, I've seen that one. I've seen that one.
It was super white. Yeah.
But did he feel any type of remorse?
He didn't know he raped her.
He
didn't know.
He was drunk, so at least I remember the story
levels of rape, though.
that it wasn't necessarily
dick lopped off?
He knew her. No, I don't think he deserves that. He knew her. And they were, they were friends, but they were maybe a little intimate, but it wasn't anything sexual yet. She had gotten drunk. He had kind of pushed himself on her, but they were both teenagers at the time. It wasn't like, oh, she was very young and he was old and he just saw her walking down the street and raped her. It was like they knew each other. They had this relationship. She did like him, but she was drunk and she didn't necessarily want to have sex with him, but because she was drunk, she just went with it. But technically that is rape if you don't fully consent. But the thing was, she had been drinking, so there's that whole element too.
Didn't she say no or some shit too? I don't remember.
I don't remember the exact details of that. Can you hit the switch? It vibrated, the silver switch.
Real professional.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. My phone was dead. It's been dead this whole time.
Real professional. I
know.
Anyway, so to end that conversation, because that was very heavy, and I probably look like an asshole, and we're probably not going to have anybody listen to this without
No, but that TED Talk is really interesting, and I think it's a step forward because that is an example of rehabilitation. They both faced the pain of those events because he had to face the pain of, I did something that somebody didn't consent to, and I possibly could have harmed somebody because I was careless in my decision making. So he reflected on that, and she reflected on
but was
the
he
fact
really a
that
rapist, though?
I don't really feel like he's a rapist. He raped somebody because he didn't necessarily ask for consent, and he was young and he didn't know better to realize, okay, she's inebriated. I don't need to go there because I need to 100% ask for her consent, whether or not she likes me or not. He was young. Maybe he assumed, oh, she likes me. I like her. Mm-hmm. She's drunk. She's kissing me. So why not go to the next step? He might not know that. So I wouldn't necessarily put the label of rapist on him right away. But he did rape somebody. Yes. He had sex with somebody without their full consent. Yes. But I think it was good because they both faced the situation, and then they both came together and talked about it, and they both wrote a book together about the whole experience.
Oh, yeah,
Sounds about white.
She's a skeptic because she's just like, that sounds like a gimmick, or it just sounds like something strange to me. But to me, that's how we should be in our interactions with each other. We shouldn't just keep on staying angry at someone forever.
True. No, of course. You never gotta let you go.
Yeah, the grudge isn't gonna get you anywhere. But
exactly.
Of course.
It just feels good and it feels right to be angry at somebody forever for what they did. But I don't think necessarily it's the right thing for our hearts.